My name is Peter. I'm a 46-year-old man from the outskirts of Croydon who's got bitten by the carp fishing bug from a very early age. From as far back as what I can remember, I've always dreamed of catching big carp. As I got older, the opportunities of me fishing and fishing for sustained long periods of time were getting more available to me. And it weren't until the last 4 years that I've actually taken it really seriously. I'm starting to try and get more involved, fishing a lot more decent venues where the opportunity for these big carp are available, that has taken me from some great distances in search for these fish. Learning more as I go and understanding a lot more as I develop myself as a carp angler. But one thing's for certain, if you want to catch big carp, you need to be where these big carp are. I'm starting off my fishing career as a young kid, fishing a public lake not too far from my house with a very good friend of mine, Barry, to now fishing some of the most sought after venues in the country with some unbelievable big carp in. Some of these absolutely unbelievable specimens in my net, and there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing my best to make that happen. Welcome to a sunny Thursday morning south of Tunbridge Wells at the Elphicks complex. This is a day ticket water and there's 7 lakes on this complex with a lot of big carp on this complex. We are fishing today at one of the lakes called Westend, which is the last lake on the complex as you drive in, and there is a stupid amount of big fish in this place. I was here not November just gone, November before, and I was doing 3 nights here when opposite me in a swim someone that I know had a 52 pound 2, which was an amazing fish. And I think the stock in here now is, I think there's 4 50s in here. God knows how many 40s, and again God knows how many 30s, but this place, anyone can come here, anyone can book up, anyone can fish it, providing, obviously the only thing I would say is that if you're brand new to fishing, it's not the complex that you would come to, because potentially you could have a problem, but it is definitely for anyone that's a carp angler to come here and fish. So me and the group that I'm with today, we've generally, when you come and do this sort of thing, when you have a booking, you do the dreaded draw, and no one likes the draw. I don't like the draw. It's definitely something that makes me worry the night before, because the problem is with it, it's the most various way of doing it, but the problem is with it is that there's always going to be someone on the trip that's not going to be happy where they're fishing. So we always try and, especially the group that I'm with, we always try and pick the swims that we're all happy with without doing the draw. And again, that's happened today, where everyone's happy in where they're going. But I'm in the first swim that we call on the road bank. Sorry, I'm on the second swim from the road bank. The first swim I've closed off, so I've got the whole area without any disturbance. There is someone opposite me, and 2 people opposite me on the bank, on what we call the bank side. And there is someone to the right of me, right up the other end. but you can fish 3 rods here, and it's a very friendly place. Mark, who owns the complex, absolutely lovely guy. The whole complex is great. It's run absolutely superb. There's a showers on site. There's a cafe down there as well where you can get some food. So it's one of these complexes there where you can come to, and you could quite easily spend a week here. Obviously you can get food brought in. There's places where you can go and get food if you're caught short. But it's just an all-round great complex. And let's not forget, the reason why we're here is there is an abundance of ridiculously gorgeous big fish in here. So I'm here. I'm going to be looking for some spots, because I've heard that there's a couple of decent hard spots out there, and I just need to look for them. But there is some big weedy clumps which I already know of anyway. It's March, we're at the end of March, or coming towards the end of March, so the weed's going to start coming up in abundance as we creep further and further into spring. But I've seen a couple of fish already, so all I'm going to do is try and wing it and hopefully have a fish. I've just been told that there was a couple of guys fishing here for the last couple of 3 nights, and apparently a couple of 40s come out and a couple of 30s, so I'm here. I'm going to have a bait in the water, so I've got every chance of having one. So the first thing for me to do was to find a spot, and as I haven't fished this lake that often, I needed to know what was down there and find a nice clear patch for me to put my bait on. I knew it was pretty weedy in places, but it was that clear patch that I needed to find. So that's what I went searching for. Oh, sorry Kermit. This patch that I found out towards where the island was, which was a little bit clear, don't seem to be much weed around, and it felt quite nice, and it was in 5 foot of water, so I thought definitely I had to give this a go and potentially get a rig out there. Giving it another go just on the second cast, just to make sure, wanted to home in my spot. I found it yet again after just clipping up on my reel, and again I've cast a little bit further past and it felt quite clear, so I thought, yes, this is definitely going to be my right hand rod to have confidence. Oh, Kermit is back again. Yep, that feels good. That's going to be my right rod. Let's get it sorted, get the rig on and get it out there. The rig I was going to use here, just to start off with, was just a straightforward combi rig. Nothing too fancy. I knew that the bottom was relatively clear, so I wanted to up my chance on having it presented with enough free movement as possible. That was my choice for the right hand rod, helicopter style, so I know I was presented. As the first rod is out, time for a quick rocket cup of tea. I may even treat myself to a biscuit. So happy with that spot. I can feel luck may be on my side here, but who knows. The day drifted away pretty quickly, and before we knew it, it was getting dark. Nothing happened in the daytime at all, just set it on my spots and was confident going into dark, but little did any of us know what was going to happen at 6 o'clock the following morning when Rob come to my bivvy and awoke me up. Well, here we are, the first morning. It's Friday today. Very quiet night. I didn't really feel that there was many fish down in this corner, even though I did get a couple of liners. In hindsight now, the fish are up that end, I feel, which has proved it. Guy to my right has had a 45-pound mirror this morning, which is a absolutely lovely fish. And I don't know really. I don't really know. I know I'm on clear spots. I know that for 100,000,000% I'm on clear spots. The thing is that I now know about this place is it's very weedy in patches, like quite weedy. And I think you definitely need to be on those clear spots. I mean, I'm not saying that fishing in the weed is not going to help, or not going to catch fish. Of course it will. If fish are in the weed, they're in the weed. So, but yeah, I think there's going to have to be a re-strategy today. I did have a zig out last night, and I had it out all night. But it was a very clear night. Well, it wasn't a full moon. Full moon is tonight. Full moon. And having a zig out on full moon, you know, is always produced on those occasions. So, but yeah, I need to do some thinking today. Good thing is I've got another 3 nights to go, so there is plenty of time. But the decision to make is: do I move spots, or do I keep them where they are and just sit and be confident with the spots? I'm confident with the spots, but it's yeah, the thought process is going to be happening today. This morning it was very misty, and the temperature had dropped last night. There still is a little bit of frost on the top of my bivvy. But I didn't feel cold, and the water doesn't feel cold. The guy opposite me has tested the water temperature yesterday evening. He tested the water temperature at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and believe it or not, it was 11.4 it was, which this time of year is ridiculous, and I still think the water is still holding that temperature a fair bit. So yeah, there's some rethinking to be done today, and I will have a little bit more of a scout around, but we will go from there. After finishing my tea, I decided to have a bit of a rethink. There's a bay over to my left, and I need to have a look at it a little bit more in detail, because these little sods here keep on diving on my spot. I must have been done about 6 times by this little sod now, and it's so frustrating when you know that you're fishing good and these little blighters don't jump on you. So this little bay here to my left, I needed to have a look at it in a little bit more detail. So what I brought with me is I brought a GoPro with a waterproof casing, so I can actually try and find a spot and have a look at more detail. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. But first thing to do was to get my old mate to cast out his marker float to the spot that I found on that morning. Had to get a bait on this, but I just wanted to look at it in more detail. So I've got a GoPro with a waterproof cover, and I attached it to my bushwhacker pole. I had plenty of sections because it was a little bit far out, but I aimed it for the float, and I managed to get it absolutely spot on to where the patch was that I wanted. And after getting the camera back in, to my absolute amazement, and what I see that the camera has picked up, the lake is quite weedy and quite silty, but the patch that I knew was really nice from what it felt like on the lead when I was marker floating it up and having a good feel around, it felt amazing. and the footage just confirmed that. I got the spot absolutely bob on, left the camera out there and proceeded to chuck some bait in. I was a little bit short of the camera, unbeknown to me at the time, but you can clearly see a few boilies just in the background, just coming to rest on the bottom. With the way that this bottom is, it just gave me so much more confidence. And with that confidence, my hope is just growing. As I pulled the camera back in, I absolutely accidentally hooked the marker float back up and brought it back in. But I was pleased with that because I knew that I was really, really close. So I was happy with that. Time to get a rig on it. I set up the camera from another angle, basically the same distance out. But I walked to my left about 10 metres, so I had a couple more sections and got on the same spot but just in a different direction. At this time it was all guesswork because the camera was pointing in a direction, but on my first time of trying I didn't realise that I was going to get bang on the spot straight away. And as for these little sods here, I had to take it to another level. Go on, Bal, say again.
I've got the coot diving on me now, mate. He spotted my hook bait, I think.
Are you fishing on that spot that I see with the drone yesterday?
I don't actually know. I'd have to see the footage. It was on about 2 rod lengths off the island, dead in line with me and the swim opposite me.
Yeah, you need to come round and have a look at this footage. I'd come round to you, but my phone is flat because it wasn't charging properly last night. But if we, at some point today, if we're going to have a cup of tea and a little bit of a social, you can see the footage on my phone once it's charged up. There is a lovely spot in front of you, but the only problem is with that is it's a little bit shallow, so potentially you might have some coots jumping on you on it, but it's definitely worth a go. Honestly, on the drone footage from yesterday was ridiculous. It sticks out like a sheep's backside in the water. It is so bright. So maybe you need to have a look at that, mate.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I've got a decent spot. And it feels quite gravelly. I'm off just to the edge of the gravel. But the coots are working that margin. They're working the whole of that margin along that island. So anything that's too blatant, they'll be on it. They'll be on it straight away.
It's got to be thought about, mate. It's got to be contemplated, innit? So, like I said, time's on our side at the moment. So let's get it and make it work.
But fingers crossed for all of us. I hope everyone has one now. One's away. 4 more to go.
So I want to give it another hour or so, and then I'm gonna do the little change that I said about, and then go from there. I might even get the deeper chirp out today and have a little bit, but I don't really want to be making a splash with it. So what I might do, if it's alright with you, I'll put a lead on, cast over to the bank just to your right where that silver birch is, and then if you can attach the deeper chirp and I can reel it in.
Yeah, no worries. I'll tell you what I might do in a minute. Bring some of that boilie round for you to put through your particle blender.
Yep, bring it round, mate. I've got it here with me now.
Sweet, I'll grab a little bucket and have a mooch round.
Roger. It's working at the moment. this lake is quite weedy in patches, and the clear spots are quite few and far between from what I've worked out already. But I know that I'm on 3 very clear spots, 2 unbelievably clear, 1 I kept on getting cooted yesterday, or ducked. There's a mallard and a female swimming around that's picked up my bait 3 times now. I'm confident I'm in the right spot, i.e. presentation wise. It's just, you know, the hardest thing is the fish need to be there. There's something that you've got no control over, whatever you do and how good you are. But today I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm trying to do, and then got 2 nights to go, and then we'll see what we can do. But yeah, at the moment no one else has had another one. Well, Rob hasn't had another one anyway, no one else has had one. So we'll have another look around today and then see what happens. Cup of tea first. Morning. It is Sunday morning, day 4. Got 1 day to, we've got the rest of today and 1 night, go home tomorrow. I'm a bit gutted for one, but first off, Rob to the right of me, right in the corner, he's just had his second 40 of the trip this morning, so I'm over the moon for him. Of course, why wouldn't I be? But yeah, people will know that if you're going in a trip of a bunch of pals, you always want to catch yourself. Don't mean that I'm, you know, I'm over the moon for him, because he's had his PB since he's been here on this trip, and he's had another 40 this morning. As far as I'm concerned, that's a dream session, beyond dream session for that, I think, anyway, and it would be for a lot of people. But let's rewind it. Yesterday afternoon, it felt like, and I wasn't the only one to say it either, it felt like the lake changed, where the fish sort of like were so much more active. They haven't been ultra active since we got here, but yesterday they literally went up sort of 3 times as active as what they were. You know, there was in the bay just over my left shoulder here, that you can see in the background, there was fish crashing out. I wouldn't say like ultra constantly, but there was about 5 or 6 sort of really decent shows in the afternoon leading up to about 8-9 o'clock. And I positioned my left hand rod over to the silver birch, and there's a absolute ridiculously gorgeous clear patch there, and it's 5 feet of water, really clear, and at nice depth. There's no swims around this bank here, so there's no one over there. Obviously it's just lines, and I felt absolutely ultra confident, and then was having a bit of a chat with the lads, and got into bed. Buzzer has gone off, bobbin has clammed up to the top and then just dropped, and it was the dreaded problem that I've had for the last few days. There's a mallard and a female swimming around that seem to know exactly where that spot is, and they've done me again. And the thing is with this spot is it's a difficult spot to get to, in regards to you're trying your best not to make too much disturbance, and so the way that me and the guy across from me have been doing it is, before I was in the swim before me, so to my left there's another swim which has been cut off, and he was casting a lead over to me, and then I was clipping it up to him, and then he was reeling it in, no disturbance, and then we was dumping the bait on the spot with the bushwhacker pole, and no disturbance, none at all. And obviously you can imagine if you get cooted or you have a take and it's 1-2 o'clock in the morning, I've got to rely on him being woken up by me to come and do the same. So I thought, well, I'll try it from this swim here, and we wrapped it up, and it was 16.5 wraps on the spot, which the second time I cast out, I managed to get it, but at pitch black when I got cooted. I say cooted, it was mallard. It was a lot more difficult. I managed to get it on the spot when I did cast it back out. Eventually it took a couple of goes, but then I got royally done again. So, but I left it out there in the end. In the end, I was just so gutted. I thought the chance had gone, and it had. And when I reeled in this morning, my fears were confirmed. Obviously, where the duck has grabbed it, it's put me in a big ball of weeds, so it was completely and utterly concealed. It was covered when I got back, when I reeled it in. So this morning, I didn't want to make any disturbance by casting out, because I still think it's bite time now. I mean, time's just a little bit before 9:15. This time I took the rig off and cast the lead over onto the bank, and Barry was over there for me, and he's grabbed it, and I've walked round there, put the rig out with a bushwhacker with some more bait, a little bit more bait. So it's still bite time. But hindsight is a wonderful thing when you're doing anything, especially in carp fishing. It's when we got here, it was nice that we didn't have to do a draw. Everyone sort of like picked their swim, and everyone was happy with it. Rob decided to go down the other end and fish down there, and it's worked out for him. I'm over the moon. We're going to get the fish out in a minute. It's just in the net now till everyone gets sorted out, and we're going to get it out and do the pictures. And it was 42.5, so he's a 240s. Wow, what an amazing trip that is. But there's still time. There's still time. We've got another day, another night, and I'm leaving tomorrow at about 10 o'clock. So I've got baits in the water again, and I'm in with a chance. But I'm not gonna say that I am absolutely disappointed at the moment. You know, getting on here is difficult. You know, from the way that you and the manner that you've got to get on here and get bookings on here, because the reason is it's got some absolutely amazing fish in here, and the whole complex is lovely. You know, Mark, him and his team, they do an amazing job here, and they're really nice people as well, really nice people. So yeah, I just feel a bit burnt at the minute. It's just like, you know, you work so hard to get a spot going, get a clean spot where you've got confidence in, where you've seen fish, and especially as last night they were lunking out, like literally, you know, proper boshing out. You're sitting here, it's really quiet here at this lake, and it's only natural light at night time. You know, yesterday was a full moon, but last night, that was another point to make. Last night it was the moon was come up late, because obviously on the axis, as the moon would change at different times, it would come up late, and it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock before it showed its face, and it was absolutely quiet. You could hear a pin drop. As soon as that moon come up, and it was as clear as what it was last night, the ducks started going mad. and it's as if the fish stopped. They stopped boshing around. So I'm wondering if this is one of those lakes that doesn't like the full moon, or doesn't like the moonlight. Only time will tell. It's the forecast today is the same for the last as it was for the last couple of days, and got another night, and we will see how it goes. As you can tell at this point, I was feeling a little bit defeated, but I knew that there was another day and another night in front of me, and eventually it would come good for me, but I didn't know it at this point. It's time to go and get Rob's fish out and have a good look at that.
Let's put a picture on the Westend chat so Paul can see it.
You happy, son?
Gets in there happy. 2 40s in one session. Had a nice screaming run at 6 o'clock this morning. And this was the end result of some hard night fishing. Had 2 40s out. Very happy. Just keep them coming, boys. Lovely, nice, beautiful fish. Let's get this one back.
What's the wag?
What?
There's someone called Wag calling you.
That'll be the wife.
Nah, don't know.
When you've got a 40-pounder, mate, you don't worry about your sleeves getting wet.
No, I know that. Right. Put him back.
Oh, bollocks. After Rob's fish today, the day went pretty fast. Nothing was happening. I set all my rigs, made sure everything was okay, and had the confidence for the rest of the night, unknowing for me tonight was going to be my turn to get amongst the fish. And what a fish it was I had. Well, considering I didn't think it was going to happen, that right-hander is the only rod that really I haven't touched since my duration of being here. I haven't repositioned or done anything to it really, just persevered with it. I'm not going to say that this hasn't been a tough 4 days, because it has. Rob behind me, he's had 240s, which is an amazing result, absolutely amazing result. Paul across the other side of me has done his PB, and unfortunately he's lost a really big fish yesterday or today. But considering there's been a bit of a mix-up somewhere along the line, and we weren't really supposed to be here tonight in one respect. We've stayed on just till the morning, and my rob's ripped off, and I've had that 33.6, absolutely lovely fish. So one happy carp geezer right now. So our trip has come to an end, our 4-night trip here. I'm going to say it's been massively hard work. Everyone's been trying really hard, but there has been 4 fish out. Rob has had those lovely 2 40-pounder, 42-pound, 47, which was his PB, and then Paul over the back had a lovely linear. He was over the other side, so unfortunately I didn't get any footage of that, but I will be putting a picture up. And then last night I was blessed with a 33-pound 6, when I honestly didn't think it was going to happen. Now, we need to get off the lake by 7 o'clock, so I've got a date with a bath, and I can't wait to see my wife and kids. Till next time.